Remember pulling on your Kevin 07 t-shirt, checking your top friends on MySpace, grabbing your fancy Nokia with the polyphonic ringtones and calling a friend to talk about last night's episode of Lost? Oh, yes, 2007, what a heck of a time. And for the rapidly rising comedy star Tom Gleeson, a gold Logie was just 12 years away.
I went over to Iraq to entertain the troops. I did. I went over there, and the first gig I did was in Baghdad, and there were a lot of US soldiers in the audience, and I couldn't resist. I said, are there any Americans in? They went, woo, yeah! And they said, to you guys, I just want to say thank you for supporting Australia's war in Iraq. I know it's not a popular war, and we appreciate all the help we can get. Thank you very much. Now, at this point, the Australians were laughing a lot. Some would say disproportionately to the Americans. And they were all armed. I didn't care. I thought, I'll take a bullet for that line. It was worth it. Before I left, this guy from the army made me fill out all these forms, right? He said, this form is for if you're taken hostage. I thought, oh, great, these gigs sound really good. Yeah, I can't wait to get over there. He said, what you got to do is, he said, on this form, you got to write down questions that only you can answer, right? Like, what's your favourite colour? You know, what was the name of your first dog? Where did you go on holidays as a kid? That kind of stuff. He said, because what will happen is, if you're taken hostage, you'll have a bag on your head. The SAS will come kicking in through the door. They'll be shooting people around you while yelling out these questions. I thought, you know what, that's a bit too much pressure for me. You know, when I'm internet banking, I can barely remember my mother's maiden name, let alone this shit I put on some form, you know. The SAS will come barging in. What's your favourite colour? Green. He's gone. What was the name of your first dog? Butch. I mean, Fluffy. And I'll get shot in the head for having a short attention span. I'll die for mucking up a quiz that I wrote. One of the shows I did was in the hills of Afghanistan. It was right up there. And when you go to a new camp, there's always a guy from the army who comes out and gives you a brief. Okay, it's ironic that they call it a brief because it never is. It's always long. They always over-explain everything. This guy, he said this. He said, see this? This is the internet. You can use that to check your Hotmail or your MySpace, or you can do a Google search because it's part of a worldwide web that connects all the computers together around the world. It's part of an information super. We know what the internet is, man. And this guy, he would try to make us feel safe, but he always made it worse. Like he said, now in the hills around us, there are Taliban, okay? And they are watching our every move. We think they're planning a major offensive, and we think things are going to get very serious around here real soon. We're not quite sure when, but what I'm trying to say is you'd be very unlucky if that happened this evening, okay? Yeah, thanks, buddy, no problem. In that particular camp, right, I was walking around it, and all the lights were turned out. They were all out as in complete blackout, right? Except for these little red glow sticks which were just there to mark obstacles and stuff like that. And I asked this guy, I said, why are the lights turned out? And he said, oh, that's so that this camp's not a target to rocket attacks. And I went, oh, okay, cool, no problem. And then later that night, I went and did a gig, and you know what they had? A spotlight on my head. It was the only light on in the whole camp. I'm done, thank you, thanks.